We are talking about concepts of inequalities 2. Hopefully you're in the right video. Before we get started, pause your video, go get a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can write down some notes on this to make sure that you understand what you're supposed to be doing. Alright, now that you have your pencil and paper, let's go through this together. It says that you have $20 and suppose you make X dollars in tips at work. Which inequality is true for you to have enough money to buy the pair of jeans after work? So it says that the jeans are $45. So I need how much money for sure to buy the jeans? Right, $45 or more. Okay, so remember, it has to be greater than or equal to 45. Okay, which means that 45 is the smaller thing, which means that it's got to eat not the 45. So this one's not going to work and this one's not going to work. And it says you need at least enough money to buy it. Now remember, if we're having at least enough money, that means we can have more money. We just can't have less money. So it's, again, back between these two here, right? Now let's look at what it says. It says that you have $20 and you make X dollars. So if I'm making X dollars, does that mean I'm taking away the $20 or does that mean I'm adding $20 to what I made? Right. Okay. And if you didn't get it, you still have this math help to help you. And you should be going through the math help slowly, reading through it, and understanding it. Okay. You have less than $45. No, because you're supposed to you need $45. You have exactly $45. Yeah, you could. Or you have more than $45. Yeah, you could. So remember, that shows us that it has to be greater than or equal to 45. Okay, or the 45 has to be less than or equal to the money you have. Okay, and then if you still didn't understand it there, then you could look at this as your option 2. You could say, okay, well, X number of tips plus 20, okay, 20 plus X is greater than 45. Yes, that's true. And that would be fine because you need that money to buy the jeans, but you also could just have $45. So there's your other option, right? But moving on, because we got it right, which inequality is equivalent to negative n is greater than or equal to 4? Okay, so this is tricky because this is actually 7th grade math, and I did throw this in there kind of so that you guys would get a little taste of what next year is going to look like. So I did expect you to use your math help for this one, and it says that inequalities are equivalent if they have the same set of solutions, okay? So 3 is greater than or equal to x, and x is greater than or equal to 3. X is greater than or equal to -1, and -1 is less than x, okay? So these two are the same, just because we switched the location didn't change the answer, okay? So that's really important to note. The other part of it is, remember, negative n means the opposite of n. So when you take the opposite of both sides of the inequality, you switch the symbol. So you're moving the symbol and flipping it upside down. If that doesn't make sense, you can always go to the Imagine Teacher. Make sure you make a guess first. But if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the opposite of negative n is positive n, and the opposite of 4 is -4. Okay, so I know that the n needs to be positive and the 4 needs to be negative, which means this is not right, this is not right, but these two might be right. Okay, but then it also, remember, said that you had to switch the symbol. The symbol reverses. Well, this symbol is the same as this symbol, but this symbol goes the other direction. So I'm going to say it's this one, that n is less than -4, because here it was negative n is greater than 4. Ta-da! We did it! On to the next one. Which step is the most efficient way to find the solution for x minus 3 is less than -1? Okay, so remember, when we were trying to find out the value of x, we were able to get rid of this 3 by using inverse operations, right? So adding the opposite, inverse operations. So if I add the opposite of -3, that's +3, but I don't just do it to one side, I do it to both sides to keep that balance balanced. Okay, so that gives me x is less than 2, because -1 plus 3 is 2, okay? So that would have given us the solution, but it didn't say that. It says which is the most efficient way to find the solution, okay? Well, what did we do? We did the inverse operation with this -3. So what's the opposite of -3? +3. And we did it to both sides. So we are going to add 3 to both sides. Now, we didn't have to flip the sign because the sign here, this x, is still going to be positive. We're not switching the sign. So that wouldn't make add both sides and switch the inequality sign a correct answer. But if you're still struggling with it, go ahead and look at the math help. Okay, we're using the inverse operation, like I said. Remember to add 3 to both sides, okay? And here, we want to remember that you can test your inequality by putting that number in. So we found that 2 was the correct answer, if you remember. So what we would do is, 2 is the correct answer. So if we were to subtract 3 on both sides, we would not get the right answer. But if we were subtracting or adding 1 on both sides, we get the right answer, okay? And then if you still need help, you can go talk to the imagined teacher. I know I'm not a perfect human being, so if you're struggling with this still, talk to the teacher. Make sure you're writing notes down and use them on the later questions. All right, next. Okay, you need at least 120 cupcakes for a picnic. So far, people have donated 96 cupcakes, okay? It says solving the inequality, C plus 96 is greater than or equal to 20 will tell you how many cupcakes you can make to have enough. Which step is the best way to solve the inequality? Okay, this is just like what we've been doing in class with inequalities. I know it's been a while, but this shouldn't be that tricky, okay? I am trying to get C by itself. So what do I have to get rid of? 96. Okay. Now, we talked about the inverse operations in the last question, and this is the same idea. What is the inverse of plus 96? Minus 96, right? So that would mean that we have to subtract 96 from both sides to kind of get an idea of how many C has to be. Okay? Again, if you are finding a total, it is at least a certain amount. You're going to have your cupcakes plus the cupcakes you need is greater than or equal to the cupcakes you need, okay, which was 120. It can be more than that. Like, you can have 133 cupcakes even though you were only supposed to have 120. I mean, what else are you supposed to snack on while you're waiting to actually eat the originals, okay? And then there's also a video here if you need it, and it's only 5 seconds long, so I'll play it.
Solving a related equation. Look at the steps used to solve for C.
Okay, you see that inverse again, right? So that's what you're doing. But if you're still not getting it, go to the teacher and let her help you. Now, we already know that we got it correct, so it's going to say your work is correct, good thinking. But if you attempt it once, you'll be fine, okay? Then we go on to the next piece. And I'm not helping you with the practice. So we're done with this video. But remember, you can use the notes you took for the guided learning, and you can always go back to the video if you need to.